Nice.
Let's move to golf next. We've got the Texas Children's Houston Open this week on the PGA Tour. But let's look back at the Valspar first. We mentioned it at the top of the show. Matt Fitzpatrick showed value all weekend long, and we called him out with an edge on socials entering the final round. He was 3 back, almost 4-1 odds-wise. And that's both a pre-tourney and a live snipe by the model. Round of applause, Dimers model. What else caught your eye last week?
Second time in a few weeks that we caught some live value. Well, it's nice to have the same guy that you had pre-tournament so that, you know, if you missed out, you could jump on the same train. But Bridgman cashed the solo top 20, which was plus money. Scuffley finished T4, one of our other values to win, called him out as a great top 10 value. Long shot, 125-1, Billy Horschel. An absolute masterclass in falling apart. He was hanging around the top for about a round and a half. I think he finished tied for 68th or something, but he was 125-1 and only 0.5%. So he was always a big long shot. But Gator Billy, as they call him, was hanging around for a little bit. And I've got at least one guy in that general range on my radar this week. But we'll take a quick look at the course and overall tournament preview for this event, and then just look at the value. I will have to shout out that Scotty Scheffler withdrew from this about 2 hours ago or so. So our projections are in the process of updating. They may not be by the time I pull up the screenshot or the screen share. They will be probably by the end of the night, certainly by the time the tournament starts. But we're still going to look at the couple of guys who popped. Some of the odds haven't changed too badly, so still got some pretty much similar value to look at. But overall, we wrapped up the Florida swing of events, four events in a row. Now we go to Texas for 2 before the Masters, which is going to be very fun for us. We'll have some special content, I think, for that as well. We're going to Memorial Park Golf Course. This is a very long par 70. It's 7,475 yards, but it's the longest par 70 on tour. Strongly favors power off the tee, wide fairways, short rough. Drivers are used heavily and often. Distance matters more than accuracy here until you get to the cleanup game, where you're going to want to be able to place the ball in the right spots on the green, because this course has few bunkers and water hazards, not your traditional type of hazard stuff, and more dangerous runoffs. The greens are multi-tiered. If you don't land in a good spot on them, putting on them can be very difficult. But if you have good, guys with good putting statistics are basically a bonus here. Like I said, greens are large but multi-dimensional, so it gets really tricky in there. And guys who can convert birdies from approach play are probably going to have the best chance to win this. Only 3 par 5s, so it's very heavily weighted towards par 4 scoring. We have a couple guys who see an edge in that. And like I said, overall, powerful hitters get an advantage here. Bombers, long ball strikers, whatever you want to call them, guys with really good driving distance are going to find themselves with the shorter holes, of course, and then cleaning up with the irons. No real major notable storylines, I feel like, for this one. You got Minwoo Lee's the reigning champ. He shortened up to only about 10-1 from 18-1 after the Scotty Scheffler withdrawal. So, something to monitor there. I don't know if he's going back-to-back. No one's gone back-to-back since Vijay Singh in 2005, 2006. But then, like I said, we have the Masters in 2 weeks and the RBC Heritage Signature event after that. So we got a pretty important stretch here before the Zurich Classic, which is a team event that we won't have predictions for in the middle of April for that 1 week. So let's try and start off this little run here with some good plays and look at the value from the Dimers model. I'll pull up the predictions. And again, like I said, Scotty Scheffler has withdrawn from this. It has not updated yet. And we have about 30% win probability to distribute amongst this field. So somebody is getting a boost. It's probably going to filter out pretty evenly, I think, disperse itself down kind of relative to these guys already. But someone's going to get I'm sure, at least a couple percentage points of an increase here. For the best value, right off the top, ignoring the Scotty Scheffler stuff, obviously, Rickie Fowler. We also are going to get him with a boost at Bet365. I'll share that later. But 4.1% to win pre-Scotty and that would be fair at plus 2340. So a pretty sizable edge here. I saw him around 30 to 1 in some books. Our boost gets him to 33 to 1 at Bet365. So if you don't have his best odds, you can look for that boost and try and capitalize. He's got 3 top 20s to start the year. Personal best this season, T9 at Arnold Palmer. Only one finish outside the top 30. Ranks 45th or better in every major category that applies here. He's great in scoring average, like I said, particularly on par 4s, of which there are 10 on this course, which gives him a pretty sizable advantage. His odds barely moved with the Scheffler news, so that signals a good opportunity for us as well, as we're not taking much of a hit by not getting him before that. He's only had one start here since this course was redesigned in 2019, but he's in much better form now compared to last year when he finished T52. He gets an edge all the way through top 20, top 10, top 5, and outright win. Looks like a pretty solid ladder play on Rickie Fowler. Greg, you love this guy. Dimer's Model loves this guy. Hopefully he'll come through for us this week. Harry Hall is down to about 40 to 1 from 47 to 1 after the Scotty withdrawal, but 3.1% to win is pretty solid. Still fair at 31.25, so a nice edge. He's managed a pair of top 10s this year, 3 missed cuts, and then a pair of top 25s right in between. He's a very average driver, pretty poor on approach, neither of which jumps off the page as must-bet metrics for this tournament. But he's a really good putter, ranks top 20. Despite his 3 missed cuts, he's great in scoring, and it's really interesting. I think I called this out at a previous tournament, but he ranks 2nd in scoring in round 3, 11th in round 4, but 98th and 100th in the first 2 rounds. So if he makes the weekend, he does pretty well. The books have him at minus 275 to make the cut. That's a pretty good sign for him playing the weekend and playing well. He's improved here in 3 straight appearances, T39, T28, and T18 last year. And if we look at his, ladder value, we'll call it top 20, top 10, and top 5 as well. So Harry Hall may be due for another one of his top 10 performances. And I do love the trend of a guy improving at a course in successive years. That signals a pretty good spot for me. And T18, not a whole lot of room to improve. Top 10, top 5, and a win could be in play for our friend from England this week.
One of these weeks, Dave, it's going to happen. Harry the Hatman Hall is going to come through for us. And why not this week? Although I am curious. I want to see that updated with Scotty pulled out. I want to see what probability we see my boy Harry jump up to.
Yeah, I might have to do a little article on that alone just to highlight which guys got the biggest jump, because that might signal a pretty good advantage to us as well when we see what the updated probabilities look like. Some other guys to watch. Their value here may change after the Scotty stuff. These are usually guys that have no major value in the outright market, but for reasons one way or the other, you should be checking them out this week at least. Steven Jaeger seemed pretty much the best and worst from him this year. He's pretty far down here in terms of win probability, sub 1%, only 0.4% here. But he's flashed a T5 this year, T7 just last week. He's got really good power, he's poor on approach, but he's like a solid scrambler and good putter. Ranks 4th in birdie or better on par 3s. Which is pretty solid. It's a shorter par 3 or a lower par 3 distribution than some of the other courses, but it gives him a little bit of an out to climb the leaderboard. And what I do like particularly is his run at this event where he's finished T9, a win, and then T11 in the past 3 years. Brooks Koepka, he's running pretty hot right now on a run of T9, T13, and T18 since started with a T56 and a cut this year. Did really well in Florida, and now is going to Texas to hopefully keep that rolling. Ranks 1st on tour in approach, which is huge here. He's an okay driver and a bad putter for the most part. He had some pretty nice birdies last week. Mixed bag of results, but he's got good form coming into this one, and he was an advisor on the redesign for this course in 2019. So I just think that's super interesting. I think he's only about 1.5% to win here at plus 2,900. So no value to speak of, but a decent probability, I believe, for a top 20, over 30%, just not going to get any value on it. And then one more guy to call out, Shane Lowry, 2.3%, 55 to 1 here. Last I checked, the odds are down to about 4,000 plus 4,400 after the Scheffler news. So make sure you're not getting cheapened too much on it. I'm curious what our updated probability will be for him. But he previously had an edge here for the ladder, top 20, top 10. And it doesn't show the flame on top 5, but this is about 9%. So that's a solid edge there as well. Pretty well-rounded game. Started off really, really hot this season. Had a T2 at the Cognizant. Just came up just shy with his collapse on the final couple holes, but missed the cut in the last 2 events. So bit of a toss-up which version of Shane Lowry you're going to get this week, but at least at the pre-Scotty probabilities, pretty good odds there. Real quick, the boosts. As mentioned, we have Rickie Fowler with a little boost to win. Where is he? Maybe I didn't grab that screenshot. One sec, guys. Pull this bad boy up. Because we also have a top 20 boost as well. So here, I'll pull that one up real quick. Top 20, Rickie Fowler, Chris Goddard up. Both pretty good projections from the model. 47.5% for Rickie Fowler, 37.4% for Chris Goddard, who is super hot this year. 2 wins. Rickie Fowler, like I said, 4 top 20s this year. Pretty solid boost from Bet365. Both of these guys land in the top 15 overall. Rickie, obviously, 2nd overall probability. Both of them get an edge on a standalone top 20. And then, as I mentioned, we also have the boost on Rickie just to get a win over at Bet365 as well, from plus 3,000 to 33 to 1. Hopefully we don't get too much of an odds chop like we did last week on Bridgman. But I think that was after Batia withdrew. It's like 6 or 7 guys withdrew last week, which messed up some of the odds, including the one on our boost. But anytime we get a little extra on a top 5 probability for the model, pretty good sign.
Yeah. It's a great development. Anytime. It's a great development. And then reminder, we say this every single week that we do the golf segment, but there's so many different markets with PGA Tour betting that you can use the models data for every single week. And you don't just have to bet outright to win. You can bet top 30 finishes, top 40 finishes. You can do make or miss the cut parlays. There's 3 balls, regional groups. I just love golf betting because you can really pick and choose wherever you think you've identified an edge in. And that's where the model comes in handy, because even the head-to-head matchups tool has been so profitable if you know how to use it. And you can just plug golfers' names in every single week and see the likelihood, probability-wise, that they win an individual round versus win the entire 4-round tournament head-to-head with a different player in the field. And you can do it with every player in the field. That's the best part of it. So use the model's insights however you wish. But if you spend the time, to me, it really is one of those sports where you can find what you're looking for if you know how to use the model. Do you have any thoughts to add to that?
Yeah, I just agree. You just made me think to pull this up real quick because I forgot there's so many values on top 20s. Obviously, these are going to change, but you see a bunch of guys like this. The model recommends straight bets, of course, but I play make miscut parlays, take some of these guys for a top 30, top 40, maybe cheese it down a little bit. You have fun with it. You have all weekend to watch your plays play out, and the live nature of both the updating features on the tool and as far as just betting the tournament throughout the course of the weekend gives you more than one opportunity to profit. I love betting on golf.
Yep.
It's my favorite.
I've loved it more since we started the show, but now I know there's so many different ways to actually find the value. All right, cool. Thank you as always for the prep work that goes into that. We appreciate it.